Hi guys, welcome to this video. This is one of the videos in the series where I talk or teach trigonometric graphs. This is for grade 11 and 12, but grade 10 people can also benefit because they're videos that have information that's useful to them. This will be a playlist or series. We'll have videos on explanations first, then later we'll look at past question papers. So if you're done with the content, you can go straight to the question paper videos. They're written question paper on them. The way to watch these videos is best when you can best watch these videos by trying the problems while you see them on the video, pausing the video and trying the problems, and then checking if the video will explain the same answer that you got when you tried the problem. So if I say I'm gonna draw a graph, you try drawing the graph first, and then see if it's the same as the one in the video. If there's a problem I'm trying to solve, you try to solve the problem first, see if it's the same. So please watch the video, and thank you for watching. Okay, so guys, firstly we'll look at the mother graphs for the trig functions. So for the trig functions, we have the sine graph, the cosine graph, and the tangent graph. We'll start with the sine graph. With the sine graph, when you draw the mother graph, it looks something like this. It looks like an S, and it's sine graph. The period, which means the point here for the mother graph, is 360 degrees. And then half of the period is at the center. At the center, it's 180 degrees. And then between this point and this point, you have 90 degrees. And then between that and that, you have 270 degrees. Now this is the mother graph for sine. What's missing now is the minimum, which is -1, and the maximum, which is 1. This is the graph of y is equal to sine x, and if this is x, this is y. Okay, so this graph doesn't just come out of thin air. You get this graph by drawing a table. You draw a table like this, and then here you have your x, here you have your sine x, which is the same as y, right? If you put values of x here, say 0, which is this, if you put 0 on sine, you'll get 0. If you put 90 on sine, you'll get 1. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you draw a table, write the x values here and substitute them into sine, you'll get order pairs that will result in the formation of this shape, which is the sine graph. Right, now this is a sine graph. The sine graph has an S again. The period is 360 degrees. The maximum, the amplitude is 1, because the amplitude is gonna be the distance from the rest position, which is here, to the maximum, or the distance from here to the minimum. Right, now let's go to the cosine graph, the mother graph for cosine. The mother graph for cosine is a bit something like this. It looks sort of like a C, but not exactly. So here it's 360 degrees. Notice how the graphs end where they started. That's how you know it's a period. So they started here. This sine graph started here. It went up and down, and then it went down and up. And the period ended when it got to where it started. Because if we were to draw another, if we were to continue drawing this graph, we would have to go like this, and we would be repeating what we already did, right? It's a similar thing for the cosine graph. If we were to continue here, we would be going down, which is something we already did. We already went down this side. So that's how you identify where period ends. Now at the center of this one, it's here, will be 180 degrees, and here will be 270 degrees, and here will be 90 degrees. The maximum will be 1, the minimum will be -1, and this is the graph of y is equal to cos x. One other thing, this graph continues. It continues doing this up until infinity, just keeps doing that. Similar for sine, it continues doing this up until no end, forever. And it also continues to the negative side, all to the infinity. You also can get this using the graphing method of the points. Okay, now let's look at sine. Okay, by the way, this has the same amplitude. The cosine graph has the same amplitude as well as the same period as the sine graph. And another thing you'd notice here is that this graph, if you took this graph and shifted it 90 degrees to this side, that would mean this point, which is 90 degrees, would move to here. So that point would be there, and this point would be here. This point would shift back by 90, it would be here. So what would happen if you shifted this graph by 90 degrees to this side is that you would get the cosine graph. You'd get the cosine graph, you understand? You'd get y is equal to cos x. But we're still going to get into that. The important thing for you to know now is that the sine graph has a period of 360 and amplitude of 1, and this is the equation, and this is how the graph looks. Similar for cosine, this is how the graph looks, period of 360, amplitude of 1. These are the mother graphs. Then you have the graph of tan. For tan, it's a bit different. For tan, what you have is that every 90 degrees you have an asymptote, right? You have an asymptote. You have an asymptote there, you have an asymptote here, and from 1, this goes, okay, I'm going to explain this now. The graph goes up like that, and then here it comes from the bottom, goes there, and goes up, and then again it comes from the bottom, goes to there, goes up. Like the sine and cosine graph, this continues forever, all the way that way. You keep getting these things, it doesn't end here, it continues. Now this is the period for the tan graph is 180, unlike the ones at the top. It's 180 degrees. What does that mean? The time taken to complete a full cycle is 180. Now let's try looking for a full cycle. If you start here, you go up, you haven't repeated anything, né? You just started here and went up. Now if when you come to this part of the graph, you'll start from the bottom, from infinity, and come all the way up and come all the way to here, né? You still haven't repeated anything. But as soon as you get here, now you're going up again from this point, which is the same as going up again from this point, right? So now you're starting to repeat something. You're repeating what you did here. So you have completed a full cycle. When you've completed a full cycle, it's when you start to repeat what you have already done. Now it's gonna go up again. That's your period, né? Where the cycle ends, that's your period, which is 180. Now it goes up again, and then starts from the bottom all the way to here. That's another cycle, 180. And then it starts repeating what it did here and did here. So you're starting another cycle here. So 180 and 0. The midpoint, which is the asymptote, is going to be 90 degrees. And if from here to here it's 90, and from here to here it's 90 again, because 90 plus another 90 is going to give us 180. Then from here to here should also be 90, which means this point is 270 degrees. And the same thing, sorry, this is not 180, this is 360. I was showing that up. Okay, never mind. It's 360, né? This continues, and another thing, these continue all the way up, these continue all the way up, but they never touch the asymptotes. They never touch the asymptotes. At 45 degrees, another interesting thing about tan is that at 45 degrees, it's always equal to 1 if it's the mother graph. At 45 degrees is going to be equal to 1. Then here I think it's 135 degrees, it's going to be equal to -1. It's an interesting thing to know. Sometimes it's helpful, but we'll look at that in further videos and see the questions that are going to be asked on these graphs. Now these are the mother graphs, right? You just need to know them. You need to know them. There's a sine graph, there's a cosine graph, then there's a tan graph. This is y is equal to tan x, when this is x, and this is y. I hope you understand that. No problem. We've reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, tell your friends to come and watch. Leave recommendations on what I should do on the next video. Anything you need me to explain, any topic, any questions. Now I just want to talk to you guys about a few resources you can use. Firstly, we have the Desmos Calculator. It's a website online where you can write a formula for a function, and then the function, the website will graph the function for you. You can use that to confirm your answers. So you can like make up a trig graph, maybe an equation, try graphing it, and then go enter your graph into Desmos Calculator to compare it to yours, so you can see if you're correct. So there you can graph basically any graph you want. I'll leave the link to the Desmos Calculator in the description of the video. You also have the Science Smart Study Guide. I like this study guide. I like using it when I was doing matric. It has really compressed information. It has everything you need, but it doesn't have anything you don't need. So it only talks about something that will help you in your exam. It doesn't go around the corners and talk about useless stuff. I would recommend that. I'll leave the link in the description. If you want to use that, you have to like go enter your name and your email, but it's not paid for. You just enter your details and they'll email you a link, and you go to your emails, press on the link, and then the file will download on your phone. It's a study guide. It's a really short, amazing study guide. And then you have chapter 1 trigonometry. This is a document. I don't know where I got it, but I'll make it available on my Google Drive. I'll leave the link in the description as well. You can go to that link and go download chapter 1 trigonometry. This one is for the math enthusiast. If you like maths, you can go use this. It's very detailed. It's amazing. I used this when I was in matric, and it has like deep explanations. Well, not deep explanations, but like it's detailed enough to let you know like what happened. Then you also have past question papers. You can get past question papers from Stanmore Physics. You can get them from essay exam papers. You can get them from Department of Basic Education, and there are many more websites you can get past papers. You can use a lot of resources to study aside from this. The important thing is you just have to practice and practice and practice. Once again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, share with your friend, turn on notifications. Whatever button you see at the bottom, just press it. Thank you.